You've done this before. You see someone walking toward you. They smile. They clearly recognize you. And in that exact moment, you realize you have no idea what their name is. Not almost remember, not, wait, give me a second. You don't know it. At all. And now your brain does something strange. It doesn't try that hard to remember. It starts trying to escape. You stall. You smile. You nod just a little too much. And you're silently hoping that something saves you. Someone else says their name. Their phone rings. Anything. Because saying, "I forgot your name," feels worse than it should. And here's the uncomfortable truth. People notice. They might not say anything, but in their mind, it feels like, "You didn't care enough to remember me." But what if that's completely wrong? What if forgetting names has almost nothing to do with caring? Because if this happens to you often, it does say something about you, just not what people think. And once you understand this, you'll stop feeling guilty about it. But more importantly, you'll understand something about your brain that most people never realize. So let's break this down. Because what's happening in that exact moment, when someone tells you their name, is not what you think. When you meet someone new, your brain is overloaded. Not in an obvious way, in a subtle, invisible way. You're reading their face, their tone, their energy. You're trying to figure out, do they like me? Do I like them? What should I say next? And at the same time, you're thinking about yourself. Am I being awkward? Did that sound weird? What do I say after this? And right in the middle of all that, they tell you their name. One quick word. And then it disappears. Now, here's the part most people misunderstand. Your brain didn't fail. It made a decision. Because your brain doesn't store everything equally. It filters aggressively. And it keeps what feels meaningful. That's why you can remember a random detail about someone, but not their name. You remember how they laughed, something strange they said, a specific moment that stood out, but the name? Gone. That's not random. It's how memory works. Your brain doesn't care about labels. It cares about meaning. Think about it. If I tell you someone's a doctor, your brain instantly creates connections. Hospitals, patients, long hours. There's something to attach it to. But if I just give you a name, there's nothing there. No image, no emotion, no connection, just a sound. And your brain treats it like background noise. Here's where it gets even more interesting, because not everyone forgets names the same way. Some people almost never forget them. Others forget them constantly. So, what's the difference? It's not intelligence. It's not memory. It's attention. More specifically, where your attention is in that exact moment. Because while someone is introducing themselves, a lot of people aren't fully there. Not because they don't care, but because they're inside their own head. They're thinking, am I doing this right? Do I look confident? What should I say next? At the moment your brain switches into that mode, something important happens. You stop absorbing information. There's actually a psychological effect where the moment you start preparing what you're going to say, you remember less of what was just said to you. Your brain shifts into what we can call performance mode. And once that happens, input shuts down. Which means something crucial just happened. The name didn't disappear. It was never stored properly in the first place. So if you forget names often, you don't have a bad memory. You have a distracted one. And here's a twist most people don't expect. The people who forget names the most are often the ones paying attention in a different way. They notice details, small things. The way someone reacts, how they speak, what they seem to feel. They remember moments, stories, emotions, because your brain is wired to capture meaning, not labels. Now, think about how that looks from the outside. You forget someone's name, and to them it feels like you didn't care. But in reality, you might remember more about them than they remember about you. Just not the name. And that creates a misunderstanding, because memory isn't a recording, it's a filter. It keeps what feels important and ignores what doesn't. High emotion? Stored. Something surprising? Stored. Something connected to what you already know? Stored. A random name given to you while you're trying not to seem awkward? Good luck. So when you forget a name, it doesn't automatically mean you didn't care. Sometimes it means you cared too much. Too much about how you were being perceived. Too much about saying the right thing. Too much about not messing up. And that internal pressure is exactly what made that name disappear. Now, can you fix it? Yes. But not by trying harder. That doesn't work. You have to give your brain what it actually wants. Meaning. You attach the name to something. A face, a memory, someone you already know. Because once there's a connection, your brain keeps it. But here's the most important part, and this is what most people get wrong. Forgetting names doesn't make you careless. It reveals how your mind works. And in many cases, it means you're paying attention to things most people completely miss. So next time it happens, instead of panicking, ask yourself something different. What did I actually remember about this person? Because that answer matters a lot more than their name. And if you've ever been in that situation, trying to hide the fact that you forgot something so simple, then you already know there's more going on beneath the surface than most people admit. That's exactly what we explore here. The small, almost invisible things that reveal how people actually think. So if you want to understand yourself and others on a deeper level, make sure you subscribe. And if this made you see things differently, leave a like.